Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here, and if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd with Jim Cummings. We're so happy to have you all here, and we're happy to have David Howard Thornton on our podcast today. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I cannot complain.
Good. You had an uneventful flight here in your Jeep?
Well,
or in your Tesla?
Coming here in my Tesla was fine. It was the flight from Philly to here, which was a little bit of a hassle yesterday.
Yeah.
But I got kicked off my first flight for some reason and then rebooked onto another flight. And it wasn't... The flight left. They kicked me out of my seat.
You should have been wearing pants.
I should have.
I'm telling you, they notice. Which, oh yeah.
Oh no.
Not that that's ever happened to me. Anyway.
So you're saying they kicked Art the Clown off a plane?
They
you didn't
did.
say, have you seen my films? Do you see what I do to people that make me annoyed?
I know. I could not believe it. It happened like in the 20 minutes I went from my hotel to the airport too. So it was like 1 minute my ticket was there. The next one I get to the airport and they're like, yeah, someone in Dallas at the corporate office removed you from the flight. I'm like, what?
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
So,
jeez.
But I made it, so that's a good thing.
Well, your alter ego should pay them a visit.
Oh, I was very tempted. I don't want to get barred from flights from now on. So
yeah,
you have to pick your battles.
That's true. Wow. Fair enough. Well, you've definitely had a lot of battles, and my goodness. I mean, I think, what would you describe how would you describe your character? That is the question. And was there a big audition for it? How do you prep for that baby?
Oh boy, that's a whole story in itself. But to describe the character, I kind of look at him as the bastard child of Harpo Marx and Freddy Krueger.
Oh, well, that explains his good looks.
Exactly. He's a handsome little devil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Groucho Marx and Freddy Krueger. Yeah. Well, he does have that sort of sense of humor there. I mean, like with the Santa Claus routine.
Definitely so.
That was oof. And you got to work with Clint Howard.
Oh, Clint's the best.
Come on.
I love
that
Clint.
guy. You got to love that guy.
He cracks me out. Because the scene I did with him, Bradley Stryker, and Daniel Roebuck is my favorite scene I've filmed so far in anything I've ever filmed. That week was pure magic. It was just, we were just all playing. And it was just wonderful. We had so much fun with each other.
Yeah, I used to see Clint kind of lurking around Burbank, and I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, oh God, this homeless guy really looks familiar. And then I realized, oh my God, it's Ron Howard's brother. Never mind, it's Gentle Ben. It's like, oh my God.
It's like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. But what a scream! You can't imagine that it would have as big an impact.
Oh, he had no idea this was going to happen.
Right.
And this was out of left field. I'm like, because I auditioned for this way back in 2015. I had just come back from my last tour with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. And I was understudy to Stephen Carl, who played Robbie Rotten on Lazy Town. He was our Grinch. He was absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
he taught me a lot. He was a master of physical comedy. And he really took me under his wing and gave me a good tutelage. So when I went in for this audition, I'd been through a bunch of other callbacks for different Broadway tours and final callbacks, and they all fell through for one reason. One literally came to a coin flip with Roger Rees. He couldn't decide between myself and another person for Peter and the Starcatcher.
Oh, right.
It was crazy, and I was getting a little annoyed, I guess you could say.
Yeah, sure.
A little down, and I had never really done film work before. And I always wanted to really break into it, and I came across this little audition for this small, low-budget independent film called Terrifier, based on a horror film anthology that came out a few years before called All Hallows Eve. So I knew the character from that, and I saw a lot of potential in him then. And I was like, well, I should audition for this. It would be a great way to finally get experience being on set, get my feet wet that way, learn the lingo, get something good for a demo reel or something like that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and my agent fought me. She fought me on it 100%. She's like, no, you don't need to be doing anything like this. This is not going to get you anywhere in life.
Wow.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. I was very adamant.
So much for that.
I know. I'm not with that agent
I was
anymore.
going to say, yeah.
You can kind of understand that mentality though, can't you? In 2015, 2016, this low budget horror movie, you've sort of revived horror with this franchise, I feel like.
I guess I mean I don't feel it's my place to say anything like that.
Yeah.
That sounds way too.
But it gave it a jump
egotistical.
start.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
I like to think we've like given the industry something to think about where to go forward, because I feel like recently in the past decade or so the industry has gotten very risk averse, because they're making all these like $100+ million movies, so they don't want to take those risks anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you look back at the movies that were made, not just horror movies, just movies in general, back in the 70s and 80s, they weren't made for hundreds of millions of dollars. They were made for, millions or tens of millions. And that's about it.
Tops. Yeah.
And so people weren't afraid of losing as much money then. And so they could take those risks and try to innovate and do new things. And that's why I think we got lost from that for a while. And I'm hoping we have given this industry a little bit of a kick in the pants so they can realize we need to get back to just making movies again, making things that people want to watch and have fun with, and give people the good theater experience again.
Right.
Because that's what I've noticed people have really liked about our film is they like to go see it in a theater because the audience is very interactive.
Oh
with
God,
it.
yes.
And
because when you hear somebody shriek and and then you hear the defibrillator in the back, that's a good sign.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
You're onto something.
Oh, I love it. I've been at some of these screenings too, and I've seen people walking out, and I'm like, yes, I got them. I got them. Usually you don't want to see people walking out of your movie, but in this case, you're like, yes, we got them. So.
Right.
And I think that's what we're trying to help bring back. And we've actually heard from some other directors in the industry recently, and they've been thanking my director for, getting Hollywood to talk again about what makes people come to movies. And they're thinking now they're going to be able to get back to doing what they originally wanted to do with their films. But, those the studios coming down saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Now they're like, I think the studios are now reassessing.
So you got a silent character that's getting people talking.
Yes.
You can't go wrong. That's kismet right there. What do you want? Egg in
beautiful.
your beer? I mean, come on, that's good stuff right there.
It is.
My gosh. And now, would you say that this follows in the line of is this Saw meets Freddy Krueger meets?
Pretty much.
Is it in there? Am I in the right neck of the woods there?
You really are in a lot of ways, because I kind of look at art as being an amalgamation of all the different horror icons that came before him. So there's bits of course, a lot of Freddy Krueger in him. Bits of Jigsaw, bits of Michael Myers and Jason and Leatherface, even Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
There's all those characters, and I think it's just he has that silent nature of Jason and Michael Myers, but he has that comedic presence and that I guess personality of Freddy Krueger and Chucky, and I think that's what's drawn people to him that way.
Yeah, I know. There's something about him not talking that makes it a little scarier.
Oh, it definitely is.
I mean,
it's not just not talking; he doesn't make any sounds.
Yeah,
you don't even hear him breathe.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's like he'll get stabbed or something like that, and in other movies with Jason and Michael Myers, when they get hit with something, you can sometimes hear them grunt or something like that.
Oh
you don't get any sounds from Art. And he does scream. It's just there's no sound coming out.
That's weird too. Yeah, that's normal.
No, totally.
Did you have to do mime work to sort of get into that role, or were you just good at miming in general?
That's something I've just been good at my whole entire life. I was never professionally trained in mime work or anything like that. I was a consummate student of physical comedy growing up. My parents and grandparents gave me a great education watching like the Marx Brothers and Charlie Chaplin or Mr. Bean.
Sure, Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, Mr. Bean.
Peter
Love those
Sellers.
guys. Yes.
John Ritter.
The Goon Show, The Goon Squad, The Goon Show. Peter Sellers.
And Pink Panther as well.
Yeah, sure.
He's just fantastic. And I love physical comedy. And I did a lot of children's theater growing up. And children really love physical comedy.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
it
so
was
much
a lot of fun.
And it's something I've been cultivating my whole life. And then when I was Stefan's understudy for Grinch, he was able to take what I had been doing my whole entire life, and he's like, okay, I see what you're doing, but here's how you make it better. And he was able to tweak things and give me a lot of, tidbits and information about how to make things just a little bit better. And
that's wonderful.
That's what I did with art.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. Jeez.
I always say, learn from the best and adapt and make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rating system was interesting for this because it's just unrated. How does that work? I don't even, because I knew there was G and R and...
I really don't understand how that works either. I was really surprised.
Is it NC-17? Is that what it's rated?
It's just unrated, period.
Just unrated.
We didn't go to the APA. It was just Cineverse just went to those different studios and like AMC and Regal and all them, and they're just like, okay, just here you go. If you want to put it in theaters, go ahead and put it in the theaters. They took a big, huge risk with it, but it's paid off. Now it is the highest grossing unrated film of all time.
That's wild.
We beat Beyonce, which is unheard of.
Wow. Well, she was begging for it.
I know.
Wait, when you say you beat Beyonce, what?
Yeah, she had I think it was a concert film or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think your boy and Beyonce should team up.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would.
She could be Foxy Cleopatra again from the Austin Powers movie.
Yes. Oh, God, yes. I forgot about that.
Do you feel because of the success of Terrifier 3, how it's just gone bang, number one, that they might be more open now to like cameos in these films? Do you think that's going to be the next level? Because Chris Jericho's been in it and whatnot, but do you think A-list level cameos now will be the next step?
We don't really want to get that too cheesy, I guess, with cameos. But like, if we're gonna do cameos, we don't want to make them just like cameos. We want to make them actual characters in the movie, so it doesn't seem like someone just going, "Oh, look, it's such and such and so and so." So we want to do it in an organic way.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. But it has been fun working with other people like, Chris Jericho or Clint and Daniel and all these great people. I mean, Tom Savini. Now, that was really a cameo in this because Tom Savini is one of Damien's idols. That's what Tom is the reason Damien got into doing practical effects in the first place. And so he really wanted Tom to be a part of the movie in some shape or form. So he made that happen.
And I'm sure it's a complete coincidence that Damien was the name of the kid in The Omen.
Oh, no, that's not coincidence at all. His mother literally named him after Damien from The Omen.
Yes.
She actually went and found the movie poster just to make sure she spelled it correctly.
Damien?
It's all for him. Which is one of my favorite horror movies, too.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I love
it scared the crap out of me.
Oh, it's so terrifying.
Yeah.
So terrifying. It's chilling. It's just, especially the graveyard scene with all the hellhounds. And I was like, it's just chilling to me.
Yeah.
I have a question about behind the scenes on these films. With the success that it's brought, monetarily with each, stage of the franchise, do you see differences on set? Because I've worked on low budget sets and I can attest it's been a nightmare. You have inexperienced people, everybody's in a rush. You don't really get the chance to really be artistic.
Right.
How has that changed from the process of the first film into this last one?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first film, we made it for $35,000.
No kidding.
That's unheard of.
Unheard of.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody was really paid for that one.
And
Damien did all the practical effects himself, so that saved a lot of money.
You can't shoot 10 seconds of a commercial for that.
No, not at all. And I was like, when Damien first told me what we made that on, I laughed. I could not stop laughing. I could not believe that. In my head, I thought we made it for maybe
what kind of cameras did you shoot on?
I think they used Red back then.
Rented. Yeah, obviously. Everything's rented.
Obviously. But on part 2, we did a fundraising campaign for that, and with Indiegogo.
Had a bake sale.
Yeah, pretty much.
That kind of stuff.
Pretty much.
An online bake sale.
A bunch of that. We were selling off, my costume pieces and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Not a bad idea.
My prosthetic every night, because we would have a different prosthetic, so that would go to different, people that contributed. So we raised about $250,000 for that one. So that pretty much funded the second film. And so we were able to have a bigger crew that next time. And then this time we had about a budget of, I think, about $2 or $3 million.
Yeah.
And that definitely helped a lot. And Damien was able to hire a makeup.
So you guys got crafty now.
Yes. Oh, a little bit better. A little bit better. We weren't eating beef tips or something like that that are producer's wife.
You didn't
made
get your lunch with quarters.
Exactly.
In the vending machine.
No. Or just eating bags of Doritos all the time that they would bring in. It's that was pretty much what I was doing.
Well, the orange fingers would show up too much.
Oh, yeah.
They would be dead giveaway.
It's really bad. It's really, especially with all the white I'm wearing.
Sure,
it just gets everywhere.
Forget it. Oh, man.
But what you're saying is it did get better, and it
definitely
did improve.
Get better, especially for Damien, because he didn't have to do all the practical effects for part 3. We hired Christian Tinsley's makeup team. They are an award-winning team. They did like the Passion of the Christ and Renfield recently, Westworld. So they're really good at this kind of work. And
they are.
They made Damien's job a lot easier this time around, and he was able to focus more on directing. Because back in the first 2 films, he was doing my makeup, and then he would have to leave me to go, set up shots or look at this or that or direct a scene and come back and keep doing more of my makeup. And
he's an accomplished juggler.
This man wears a lot of hats, a whole lot of hats.
So you have a nice hat in your. Don't you have like a little?
Yes, my little happy cat.
Your little chapeau. Chapeau there.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most impressive things about that first film was the practical effects on such a low budget that really showcased Damien's talents.
It really did. It really did. He's very talented. He's self-taught too. He didn't go to school for any of that either. He just learned it through trial and error like the greats did back in the day.
Is he a cosplayer?
Oh, not really. I would say a cosplayer. He just liked to do it himself.
Yeah, I know I asked that because they're really good at that kind of stuff.
Oh,
too.
Yeah. He did, though, a few years ago when we were at a convention for Halloween, dress up like Vincent from the old Beauty and the Beast series as Ron Perlman's character.
Yes.
And put that makeup on.
Oh, wow. Well, that took a while.
Yeah. It looked great, though. It looked really great.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. I used to love that series.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, Ron's a buddy of mine. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Ron was on the Ron was on the Perlman last year.
Pearl was on the cast of the cast.
Pearl was on the Castman last Ron.
Yes. And
English hard.
Word salad.
Yes, I eat them all the time.
Yeah. Man, oh man. So, were you ever an accomplished mime? Is that a thing? Feather in your hat? Or?
No, it's not a feather in my hat.
No, okay. Because you get that mime groove.
Yeah.
Because you have to convey a lot of stuff. Of course, all you're doing is conveying, "I'm going to kill you," and so it's a little less nuanced.
Yeah, a little less.
Yeah,
a little bit less. Yeah. There are all these people that do say that art is a mime, and I always tell them, no, never call him the M word. Like that's what happened to Allie in the second film. She made that mistake, and he brought out the salt for her.
Yes,
so
that's
right. But I always like to try to educate people on that matter. It's like he's not a mime; he's a silent clown, more like the Perot. Style, or like Emmett Kelly.
Emmett Kelly was that's the one I was trying to think of. He never made a sound, right?
No.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. And the difference between silent clowns and mimes are, silent clowns use props. Mimes pantomime everything, hence the name mime. So I always tell people, it's like, if Art was a mime, he'd be a horrible killer.
Yeah.
He just would not be that effective.
I for a lark, I used to live in New Orleans, and there were a lot of street performers there.
Yes.
A lot of people and a lot of guys that will just spray paint their entire body gold or bronze or silver, and then stand there like that for 18 hours. And then of course the mimes are there. They're all over Jackson Square, and I used to think it would be a great idea. Now tell me if you think this would play. Lenny, the amazing talking mime. How does he do it? Whoa, hey, I'm flying a kite over here. Is it windy or what? And people are going, I never quite got the gland to try that.
That's great though. That's
but I think it'd be a great idea.
Character.
Yeah,
that's
don't
fantastic.
You think? Yeah.
Oh my
Whoa,
gosh.
hey, what is this? A glass cube? I can't get out. I'm kidding with you. I'm a mime. That guy. I think that would, it's just a natural.
That almost sounds like a character they could have had like on Animaniacs or something like that. Because they had that mime character
that's
like
true.
Mime Time, but that's like that.
Yeah. I did a lot of those too. I should have brought that up back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's a great cartoon. That's such a great
Animaniacs,
cartoon.
yeah.
Oh, it's just brilliant. brilliant piece of work.
I agree.
And that part of that cartoon shaped where I am now with comedy too. I loved animating.
So who are your influences, comedically speaking?
Oh, so many. I mean, it goes, of course, back to Chaplin and Buster Keaton, and Harpo Marx, and
Marcel Marceau had to pop in there somewhere.
Of course, of course, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, Peter
Bean.
It's Bean. My aunt, when I was about 12, gifted me a box set of Mr. Bean videos.
Oh.
And I think that was
I had the same one.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. They're fantastic.
Me too.
And I think that was like the catalyst for a lot of where I went with things, because I would sit there and just watch those videos and just rewatch them because I just love that style. I love that style. He's such a mischievous little jerk.
Oh,
and
I know.
I love him. The Christmas episode especially always kills me with the nativity scene where he's doing a little thing with the baby and everybody's like, he's got the marching band coming through and the dinosaurs coming in. It's just hysterical.
Yeah. And, well, I like that British humor, that dry stuff.
I do too.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's so much, more sophisticated, I feel. I love British comedy.
I was this close to getting John Cleese on the podcast. Oh. Okay, maybe this close.
Oh, my gosh.
About that close? Easily that close.
That would have been
not to be confused with
day.
this, but like
just
more
about
like
that much.
Yes, about that much.
I was on a flight with him recently coming back from, I think he was doing Dragon Con there in Georgia, and I was coming back from a different con, but I had a connecting flight there in Atlanta, and it was just a very quick moment. I was coming out of the bathroom. He looked at me, and I looked at him. We both did a head nod, and that was it. And I was like, "I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I'm good. It was that's John Cleese.
He is a human. He just peed. So that it was a bonding moment.
He's human after all.
Yeah. It was me that peed. It was not him.
Oh, that's true.
I'm the human.
Yeah, that's right.
He's still John Cleese.
That's so true.
Were you a Disney kid growing up?
Oh,
David?
very much so. Very much so. My very first film I ever saw in the theaters was Fox and the Hound.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. That's I grew up in the Disney Renaissance, and that's, of course, the Disney Afternoon was my bag back in the day.
I think mine might have been Dumbo, maybe.
Dumbo,
maybe.
Yes. Oh, that's a great one.
It wasn't the original in the 40s, but I mean, my aunt and aunt took it to. I think they re-released it. Well, they still do that every now and then.
That's probably what they did.
It's probably a profit deal.
Probably so.
Probably. I'm just going out on a limb here.
It's a good idea, because I remember they used to do that with like Cinderella and Snow White and Bambi.
Yeah.
They would re-release them every like decade or so.
Yeah.
For a newer audience, which is great. But
yeah. So are you guys what's for the future? Are we going to see more?
Oh, more art? Oh, very much so. We're already planning for part 4 right now.
I knew it.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
you heard it here first, or third, or 10th.
Yeah, we were just chatting the other night at this con. Jason Patrick and Damien and I were brainstorming in a whole idea for a kill scene for part 4. It's something very demented, and I think people would be very, very cringeworthy type of kill for people. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's funny how
you
our
get a
brains
complimentary barf bag with this movie.
I think that would be a smart idea.
I think that's not a bad idea, actually.
That's a good marketing plan, actually.
Yeah. They did that with some showings.
You know what? Doggone it.
Yeah.
All right, you pass that along, and then I'll get. Don't tell them where you got it.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, maybe I could do a cameo.
Yeah.
Well, if you need somebody to die, I've died on 2 different
Terrifier
TV
4.
shows
He's
before.
very
I'm
dead.
really good at dying.
Have you seen
They
him
love
die?
killing me on
what have
TV.
you died on?
I died on the 100. There's this alien that just came right out.
Oh, fun.
I died in this little short film. I was at a summer camp, and the camp counselor stabbed me to death. I mean, I'm just, they love to kill me. I'm
It's
like,
fun.
what's that guy? Sean Bean. I'm like,
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Oh, yeah.
CN Bean.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's fun. I have more fun killing people than being the one that dies, though.
I have a lot of fun dying.
That's good. You found your niche.
Okay, that's right.
Well, I just have more appreciation.
It just sucks because
for
then
it.
you can't come back.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
true.
you're not going to be in the next one.
No. It's I'm always astounded with my female co-stars, especially where they would go 4 or 5 days screaming all day, every single day, and they still have their voice.
Like you got to know how to scream.
Yeah, I'm like, that's amazing, because I had to do some screams for my last film, Stream, where I got set on fire, and about 20 minutes of it, I was just, oh God,
that's gotta hurt.
Oh yeah, it's like,
being set on fire. I'm sorry.
Not fun. It's not fun. I
don't care what anybody says. That's gonna sting.
Yeah, just a little bit. Get the hell out.
He's not acting.
That's real. That's real.
Why is his hair gone and up in smoke?
My eyebrows.
Yeah, God almighty.
Do you think that mentality's changed since the first film? Because the first film, you're just making a low-budget horror movie. But now do you think the mentality with the new films is, what's the most creative way we can kill somebody? Is that more of a mindset now going into the films of, how can we scare people and gross people out with these deaths? Was that the mentality in the first one, or has that evolved since?
I think that was a little bit of the mentality in the first one, just with the infamous hacksaw scene in that one. Because when I read that in the script, I thought that was just there for descriptive purposes for us, the reader. And Damien's like, oh, no, we're actually going to show all of that. I'm like, what? Because I'm so used to other films, they always cut away from that kind of stuff. They don't show the actual kill happening in that way. And I was like,
yeah, it's true.
Wow.
That's true. That's the cue to cut away.
Yes.
And then in the morning, the fog rolls away and they reveal there's body parts everywhere or whatever.
No, what happened?
What happened there?
It's actually wild that it's able to be shown these days. I remember not too long ago, I mean, we had a couple of the voice actors, performers from Grand Theft Auto on the show. And I remember a whole bunch of controversy about a torture scene in that game. And all you really did was, you pull his tooth out, you electrocute him a little bit, and I'm saying like it's nothing. Like
all he did was
that's all you really do.
You know.
But I mean, looking back on it, the scene's not really that graphic. I mean, you can look it up on YouTube. It's not really that graphic. And I just remember the controversy over it. And it's animated. It's not even acted. It's not practical effects. It's not, trying to convince you that it's, live action. No. And so it's interesting.
It was a controversy at the time.
For sure. You remember that too.
I do.
Yeah.
And then when I saw, it's like, really, that's what people are so upset about?
Right.
I've seen so much worse.
You're going, that was too...
Without getting too much on a tangent, I think a degree of the outrage was the fact that you're controlling and you're kind of the person in control of like how to torture this character.
Which makes sense in that regard.
But still, I mean, visually, it's has nothing really on Terrifier, I feel like.
No, and I think that's why Damien wanted to do this. He wanted to just push that envelope and see what he could do. So, going forward, we definitely have looked to see, okay, how, because we knew it's like, when we did part 2, we're like, okay, gosh, everybody's going to be talking about that hacksaw scene. Well, we got to do something, try to at least rival it.
Yeah.
And we originally, what we were going to do was okay, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And Damien went back to look at what we had done. He's like, this doesn't seem like it's going to really meet up to the expectations. But he's like, well, we have all this downtime because of COVID. So he went back to the drawing board and revamped that whole entire scene and had time at that point to actually construct all the pieces he wanted for it. So he wasn't rushed. And we came back when we were able to reopen, there in New York, and filmed the rest over that Christmas holiday season. And
that's where you were? You filmed them all?
Up there in New York. In middle of nowhere Amish country for part 2.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. It was fun going home in the morning covered in blood. And passing the little buggies on the road.
Passing the buggies with
poor Ezekiel. Like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I scared some people, all right.
Yeah, I would imagine. Oof.
Yeah. But with that, we definitely take that as a challenge.
Have you played the arcade game yet? Speaking of video games.
I have not. No, I didn't even know about that until about a month ago when we were in Sitges there at the premiere there in Spain. And the developers were there and they took us out to lunch and they showed me the trailer for that. I'm like, what is this? This is amazing.
It's a video game?
It's a old
school. Like a pinball?
No, it's like old school, like side scroller beat 'em up, like back in the day.
Wow.
Like back in the 80s arcade game. So that's...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You're playing as the villain, so you're going up against the heroes. And
okay, now everybody make note. There's your stocking stuffer. Coming up.
Stalking stuffer.
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
STALK even.
Yes. And the best, stalking stuffer would be a severed foot.
Think about
What
it.
better than that?
Yes.
What? How?
I gotta give tribute to Mitch Hedberg there for that one, though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's no longer with us. The
No, unfortunately
comedian.
not, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I loved him.
I loved him.
I
Yeah,
loved
he was
him
great.
too.
So
Some of
great.
the best non sequiturs.
Mm-hmm.
He was just crazy.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
loved his comedy. Loved his comedy.
So, how long do you think you can? How many movies do you think we've got in us here?
I think we at least have probably
10,
1 or
12?
2 more for right now, for
Yeah.
at least this story arc he's going with right now. But I don't think it's going to be stopped at that. This is probably just going to be this one story arc, and then I'll probably give it a few years, and they'll probably go back, and he'll probably want to make more money, and I'll probably want to make more money. So let's make more money.
I think he could go to Mardi Gras.
Oh, that would be fun.
Because
That would be
he
fun.
could blend in.
Oh, he could really. Oh, God. Oh, that's a great idea.
I know.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great.
Yeah. Because he
That's
could walk
great.
right down the middle of the street.
Yes.
All day long, all night long.
Totally fine.
Yes.
Totally fine. Oh, I like
You're welcome. out there, wherever.
That's Terrifier 5. Jim, you're going to be in Terrifier 5 now.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that would be amazing.
And perhaps Christopher could kill me.
Yeah.
Or I'll be getting killed.
Or no, wait, you kill him. And he's harder to kill.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't take much work to kill me. So kill him first, and then just for good measure, I'll.
Were you a big fan of horror movies, slasher movies growing up?
I wasn't at first.
No.
My mom was a big chicken. So she thought the old Vincent Price Fall of the House of Usher movie was the scariest movie she had ever seen.
Oh, well, it probably was
For her.
for
For her
that she had ever seen.
Yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
And so we just never watched them in my household. It wasn't until I was in about to go to college. It was like my senior year in high school. I was doing a production of A Christmas Carol.
Pretty scary.
Oh, it's very scary. Lots of ghosts. Lots of ghosts.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Come think
But
of it.
our cast was going to go see Scream 2 because it just come out in the theaters, and there was a girl in the cast I had a crush on, and she asked if I was going to go, and I can't chicken out in front of this girl, so I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll go. And I was nervous, didn't know what I was getting myself in for because my mom had always been talk about how scary these type of movies are. Oh, you're gonna hate them. You're gonna hate them. Oh, you sure?
I love
wanna
that you
go?
were nervous going to a horror film.
Very much
That's
so.
perfect.
Oh, yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And then I was laughing my head off through the whole movie. I was
wow.
like, this is so much fun. And I was like, oh, so the next year when I went to college, my roommate who came from a very strict Southern Baptist family, so he never watched these movies growing up either. So we would go every single weekend and go to the local movie store and just get stacks of tapes and watch a whole entire series over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Just to catch up.
Just to ruin his perspective.
Oh, yeah.
In a
Oh, very
permanent
much
way.
so. Very much so.
Oh, well, man, that's indoctrination.
Oh, it really is. In small town Alabama.
Yeah. Oof. Must have gone over well.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
So I had to ask you, I made some notes about, now the sunflower glass, is there any merchandising coming off of this?
There is.
With,
a whole lot of merchandising.
Sunflower glasses?
Yeah. Yeah, they started making those.
Really?
I mean, I think it was a product originally made. And I don't know how this happened, but now we're making them as well with the Terrifier logo on the side of them.
Yeah.
Too,
well,
so.
my wife wanted to know.
Yeah.
She's a very good at marketing. She's a very good businesswoman.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And so she's, and here you guys are on it. That's hysterical.
Oh yeah, the amount of merchandise. I don't know if you saw some of the things people were bringing up to my table at the convention last weekend, but it's like there's a baby doll that they've made of me. It's like not like a kid's baby doll. It looks like a baby just crawling, and it's adorable. And they've made that. They've made, of course, knives and stuff like that. But there's so many shirts and
Right.
2 animatronics now that they had at Party City and Spirit Halloween.
Oh, jeez.
It's
Wind it up and it
crazy.
kills someone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Pretty much. I actually
It's
did
adorable, huh?
Oh, it's so funny. It's my size too. They got my measurements and everything for it, I guess. But I did it recently, a few weeks ago, when I was in New York for the premiere. They had me come into Spencer's and Spirit Halloween, and I dressed up as Art. And I did the whole animatronic thing, and I was scaring people.
Oh, wow.
I had so much fun.
Yeah. Ooh, that's got to be
Merry
fun.
Christmas, kids.
Oh, very much so. Oh, yeah. I love to do that.
Crazy.
One of my favorite bits of merch from the film was I love that Umbrella Entertainment have a box set coming out, and one of the extras in there is a VHS copy of the film.
Yes.
Which is just something in 2024 so unheard of, but I think the film just has that real nostalgia 80s vibe to it that it just fits.
It does. It does. That's something we did with the first film. They released a VHS. So every film, they've done a VHS release of it because that's what we were always trying to harken back to.
No kidding.
The old.
Oh, wow.
The older
you got to hope that there's people out there with enough VCRs.
Yeah, seriously.
You hope so.
I don't think I have one anymore.
I haven't seen a VCR in decades.
I have a collection of old videotapes and everything, especially all my old Disney ones on the clamshells.
Mm-hmm. My friend Corey Burton still has a Beta.
Wow.
It's got a much better resolution. And I go, it doesn't. Not than a DVD.
No.
Well, okay, but still. I was like, what are you a purist about that for?
Wow. You could show that to like someone of the younger generation now. They would not even know what that is. A Beta?
Betamax, yeah.
It's similar to putting on a vinyl record. It's the experience of putting this physical thing into the VHS and watching the film that way. It's no different to putting on a vinyl record. Instead of just putting an MP3 player on, it's a vinyl record you're putting on. It's the experience of it all.
It really is.
Yeah, well, I like those. Yeah. I like records.
Oh, of course.
I
love the VHS too. I was always very kind, and I would rewind. So
that's right. Be kind, rewind. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's.
That was always annoying when you rented a video and it's like halfway through, you're like, "Oh, are you kidding me?"
Yeah. Well, I worked in a video store right before I got into this business. It was the Video Depot in Anaheim Hills, and that was one of my pet peeves. Oh, don't worry, I'll rewind it for you. It's like, jerks. People go, okay, good. It's like, okay. Pain in the butt, though.
Oh, my gosh. It really was. It was.
Well, let that be your worst trouble.
Yep. I'm kidding.
So how busy does it keep you? Like week to week, day to day, month to month?
It's keeping me busy
kind of
right
keeping
now.
You going, I would think.
It is. Right? It is. I've been doing a convention every single week since August.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been keeping me busy. So I figured right now might as well make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
Because who knows how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But I'm very grateful for it. But
I think it'll be. He's ending the Freddy Krueger zone.
I hope so. That would be fantastic.
In other words, forever.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I'll be Dracula.
Very lucky.
He'll always be out there.
To me, it's very reminiscent of like the Saw series and the paranormal activity, kind of that business model too, where they started low budget and then expand. And why not do Saw 10,
why not?
Let's keep going.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business, it's show business. Everybody's trying to make money. If people are there, if the fandom's there, why not keep making them? But I wanted to ask you earlier, what your biggest challenge as an actor has been in your career.
Oh boy, I think the biggest challenge for me was to learn to let go. Because I remember way back when I was doing community theater in Alabama, I would get so upset if I didn't get cast in a show. And I mean, especially when I was younger, I'd throw a hissy fit, and that's one of those things I'm very grateful for my parents, where they taught me not to be that way. They're like, okay, I understand you're upset, but you're not always going to win, and you've got to learn how to take it graciously. And so
fecal matter occurs, right?
It's so true, especially in our industry. We hear
it's mostly that.
It's mostly rejection. It's like you get for every one yes, you get like 100 no's. And I'm glad that it took me a while, especially there in Huntsville, to get used to that idea. But when I moved to New York, I had to learn very quickly. Okay, if you don't get cast, move on.
Next,
there's always another audition coming up, and I had to learn to just get out of my head and stop, thinking, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Oh, you suck, you suck, you suck. Instead, just go, okay, there's a reason I didn't get that one, even though I was called back, but okay, on to the next thing, because you never know. Maybe that next thing is going to be the thing that changes your life, and that's exactly what happened to me with Terrifier.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's another thing I always tell other actors is just to be persistent. Mm-hmm. You never know how long it's going to take. I was waiting tables for 13 years doing side acting jobs. And slowly and surely I was building my way there. So I started off with low off Broadway shows and eventually got to do a Broadway tour, and one thing led to another and led to another.
What was the show that took you to Broadway?
It was the Grinch.
It was the Grinch?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get to perform
that?
on Broadway, but it was
sure
the Broadway tour of it.
Broadway adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, it was the same company
pretty
that
cool.
put it on Broadway.
Not bad.
If I'm not mistaken, Broadway and off-Broadway is just the number of seats in a theater. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly.
A lot of people didn't know that.
No, it doesn't actually. There are a lot
Fun
of
fact
Broadway
for
shows that
producer
are
Chris
actually
here.
not on Broadway, on that street.
On that street, yeah. Yeah, well, and what did we see? The Faulty Towers?
We saw Faulty Towers, Book of Mormon.
They did a show, Faulty Towers.
Yeah, brand new.
Yeah.
Just came out earlier this year.
Kill you to death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, John Cleese.
John Cleese. And the guy who's playing
John
John
Cleese is
Cleese's
in-
character.
No, just produces it. He produces
but
it. Yeah.
he is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great show.
gosh.
I mean, he looks like John's, I don't know, son, maybe.
Yeah, he does.
That's amazing.
And he's all this wonderful, how special for you. Get her out of here. You know, and all that stuff. And it's so good.
Oh gosh, that's like one of my favorite plays I ever did. I've done this play twice. Was 39 Steps, based on the Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Yes.
And both shows I've played both clowns now in the show, and the clowns play 30 different characters in the show each. So I've played about 60 different characters in this show. Oh, I would have arguments with myself on stage, and I would have to switch my hat back and forth.
The great thing about those British shows too is like Mr. Bean you brought up before, Faulty Towers. They go for about 10 to 15 episodes. You feel like you've seen 10 seasons of them as a kid, don't you?
You really do. It's just they're just so well written and so clever, and I think that's why they feel like there's so much more than there actually is to them.
Yeah, and I could watch Monty Python all day long.
All day long.
You know, it's crazy.
I mean, even like Vicar Dilby or anything like that too. It's just like, they're just brilliant.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
It's like that's like one of the talk shows I would love to go on one day. Actually, there are two of them. One's called QI. I don't know if you ever heard of this one. It's not really even a talk show. It's more like they just go around doing trivia questions, but it's a bunch of comedians on a panel together.
Oh, boy.
Sandy Totsvig hosts it. It used to be Stephen Fry that hosted it, but now it's Sandy that hosts it, and it's hysterical. And every episode, every season is based on a letter of the alphabet, and every episode is based on a subject concerning that letter. And all the questions are surrounding that, and it's
So once they get to 27, what do? Go to the Greek alphabet, or
I guess they go to like Chinese alphabet or something
go to
like that.
Sesame
Maybe
Street.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's great. But the other one, of course, is the Graham Norton show. I love Graham Norton. I think he's such a great interviewer.
Yes. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, he's so funny. It's
Yeah.
And he always seems to get like these great conversations out of his guests on there too.
Yeah, well, you like that dry British humor.
Oh, I really do.
So do I.
I really do.
Yeah. Me too. Girls don't like it, but
Bless
for
them.
whatever reason. Right, Brendan?
Yeah. Hey, David, can we touch on that scene you discussed before?
He's sitting there going, sure, it's good.
Can we touch on that scene that almost made you throw up with the rats? It was the rat scene, right?
Oh.
It wasn't the rats that did it to me. I thought the rats were adorable. They're
Well,
so
who
cute.
doesn't?
They're wonderful.
I loved Willard.
Yes.
And Stewart.
Stuart, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But
Stuart Little.
Yeah, Stuart Little. I was also thinking Stuart from like Mad TV from back in the day. But yeah, what it was is in that scene is I don't handle puke very well. I've never liked it, don't like it, and originally they had a lot more in that
Well, you're not
scene.
supposed to handle it.
No.
First of all.
It's very hard to hold on to.
just don't do it.
It just goes right through the fingers.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God!
And it was just gross. It was gross. Yeah. They used this horrible smelling cream of mushroom soup too.
They had to make it smell bad.
Oh yeah, and it's really hot in that room.
That's so uncalled for.
Yeah, you can. I think you can
act
imagine.
like it smells bad.
Yeah.
But it got worse because Samantha, who plays Victoria, she just decided to come down and mess with me because she likes to do that. And she had this horrible bag of corn nuts, and they smelled atrocious. Oh. And she's just getting up right in my face with that makeup on and just like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, God, no. Just go, whoa.
That sounded like Napoleon Dynamite there for a second. I was like,
gosh.
God. Go away. Get those nut breath out of my face.
Give me my tots.
Sounds like the real family vibe on set, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so. We're all just joking around all the time with each other, having fun. We're all very close. That's what I never expected when I first started doing horror films, was how funny things can be on set. Because you're thinking,
it would almost have to be just to release the tension.
You do. Oh boy, we have to. But Samantha and I, especially in the first film, we really bonded well together. Because my first night working with her was when I was wearing the skin suit, where I'm wearing someone else's tatas, and and I'm just like, hi, I'm David, and these are my tatas. Welcome to Terrifier. And
yes,
she's like, oh my gosh, this is hysterical. And we just became best friends after that. We just were constantly making silly videos on set and just goofing around. We had a lot of fun. So I was so happy when we brought her back for part 3 and had her as my accomplice in this, because I love Sam so much. She's like a sister to me now.
Oh, that's great.
I love her. I just absolutely adore her. We have so much fun together.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're keeping busy with this thing. I mean, how?
I am.
Yeah. You know, who was it? Somebody said, well, you don't quit making, the only time you quit is when they quit buying.
Right.
That's the one.
But we also
so far so good.
So far so good. But we also don't want to get into the jump the shark mode where you're just doing it just to put stuff out, and it's just
Halloween 6.
Yeah. It's just like, So we want to at least. We'll make these as long as there's a good story to tell. We don't want to like sell out or anything like that. So, but who knows?
But I think the fact that you guys bring so much humor to the movies, I think that's what separates you guys, and I think that's so needed in the Terrifier films in particular, because they're so grotesque and gory. And I think these funny scenes like the costume store scene in Terrifier 2, they're so needed for the audience, so we can relax for a little bit. Because it's such a contrast to what's coming. Usually when I see you doing those scenes, I go, okay, they're relaxing us here. That means something awful is about 2 minutes away. That's usually what happens.
That's a smart way to look at it. You got to set them up for it. And I think that's one of those things where horror and comedy can go together so well, like peanut butter and chocolate. You need the two there. You can take the audience on a better ride that way, because you have those comedic bits that can put the audience at ease again, and then you can hit them again with another good scare.
Yeah.
But also with the comedic bits, we're able to get away with more than we typically would. If this was a completely serious film, oh my God, then we would not be allowed to get away with what we're doing in these.
That's true.
People would be just miserable. Just miserable. These would be miserable films. Yeah. And it's that little bit of comedy in there that makes everything work, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's a special magic there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I enjoyed that scene with Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is about him, but whenever he's there, you're going...
I have a chimney.
Yeah. Just, boom. You're there.
That was all Clint, just making up little one-liners. I'm like, oh, my God, he's just killing everybody.
Yeah.
We're all just laughing our heads off the whole time.
Oh, that's great. That's so cool.
Do you make up the actions when you... So, for example, the costume store scene in Terrifier 2, did you make that up yourself, or was it just, are you directed and told what to do, what poses? Or just, David, just go for it and we'll pick what works?
A lot of the time, that's just me playing around. Damien just lets me let loose, especially with the costume store scene. I had just a whole rack of glasses that I went down, and they filmed me with every single pair of glasses that was on that side. And I would do like 2 or 3 different bits with every pair, and we would just play around. And Damien just had probably 30, 40 minutes worth of footage to go through of me just playing around and like, okay, let's take this, and this and put it all together. And that's what I like. He gives me those opportunities just to play. But sometimes he has ideas and stuff like that. Like I think a lot of people's favorite bits from the part 3 is when I'm slapping Sienna in the head every time I walk by her when she's tied up to the chair. And that was Damien on the spot. Like, this needs a little bit of levity. Dave, why don't you just slap her every single time you go by? And so like literal slapstick going on over here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Great.
Whack.
It sounds like you're involved with every stage of production. Is that true?
It pretty much so. I mean, Damien of course writes everything.
Yeah.
But it's like he's very interactive with the cast and crew with ideas. He likes to hear people's ideas. He's not just like, it's my way or the highway. I mean, of course he's always the ultimate decider on things, but if someone else has an idea about something, he's always willing to hear it through, because he's like, it's whatever we can to improve things and make things better. Let's hear it out and see. And if we can, we'll try it out, see if it works. If it doesn't work, oh well, at least we tried.
Is there any part of your performance throughout the 3 movies that you've put out there and then got left on the cutting room floor and you were kind of disappointed by? Anything like that? Or maybe vice versa?
I'm trying to think. I mean, there was a bit in the first film. They put it in the extras where I'm in the car with the girl, Dawn, and she turns and sees me sitting next to her, and she screams. Well, they have a cut right there, and my response was I started screaming back at her, like doing this little panic scream, just to mock her, and then I took out a syringe and got her with the syringe. But he took that bit out because he didn't want to give away the syringe for later on in the movie. So I was like, oh, okay, but. A lot of the stuff, from what I know, he leaves in. Of course, there's so many different takes of things, so it's like he just picks and chooses things. So yeah. I can't really think of anything else right off the top of my head, though.
Yeah, no, that answers the question. I'm just curious because not often an actor gets to be involved in every stage of production.
It's so true.
And I was actually just listening to a podcast too, where interestingly, it was with an editor. He worked on what was that new movie with? It was a sci-fi movie with Denzel's son, John David Washington. The creator. So he edited The Creator. I'm forgetting his name right now. I apologize. Okay. Anyway. All that to say, he said that his least favorite part of production was the actual filming of the movie. And I thought that was interesting as an actor. That's usually like, the part that you get to play around with, which leads me into another question, thinking about that. Sorry, I'm going off a little tangent.
That's okay.
That's interesting.
But obviously, being on stage and being in film, and I'm not sure if you've done voiceover or not, but do you have a preference of what kind of performance that you like to perform, be it on camera, on stage, voiceover, if you've done it?
I'm definitely ballet. Oh, God,
okay.
No. I tried that back in high school. I took a dance class, and 1 6-week period we had ballet, and I am like, this is just something I cannot do. I am not that sophisticated.
Yeah.
That's like how I knew, like when I watched Kill Bill, that I could tell that Uma Thurman has a history with ballet, because you see her toes, and I'm like, oh. She's a former ballet dancer.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what you see so many ballet dancers. Their toes are all messed up from when they had to dance on point. It's just, But for me, it's hard for me to choose because I was more of a stage actor. There's something about being on stage. Yeah. It's when you have an audience in front of you, it's this,
you're better.
Yeah, you're so much better. You have something to feed off of, and you get that instantaneous feedback, so you know if things are working, especially with comedy, because that's my bread and butter is comedy. So you know if the joke's working or not, and so you know, okay, I can take it further, or I can reassess and try to do it differently this way and see maybe if that gets the laugh or not. With film, you don't have that luxury. You just hope and pray that whatever you filmed is other people are going to find funny, and you won't know for several months later, sometimes years later, if it worked or not. Did
that work? Yeah.
And it can get made or screwed up in an edit too.
It really can, because that's the whole thing with comedy. Is all comes down to timing, and it's challenging, especially on film, to get the right timing. You have to just feel it, and that's how I am on set. I can always tell when it's the right take. I can, I just feel it.
You got that instinct, yeah.
Yeah, you have that instinct. It's something I can't describe. You just know it. You just know it, like everything landed the way it was supposed to land in those. And
I agree.
And you can just be a fraction of a second off, and the joke does not land the right way.
That's right.
I think that's why I prefer being on stage with an audience, because you can tell when things are working. And,
well, they can't. They don't lie.
No, they do not.
They kind of can't lie.
They can't.
Yeah.
They don't.
It's just
especially
it's
children.
Organic. Oh,
children are the most brutal audience you will
yes,
have.
yes.
And it's like if you hear them starting to just talk out there, you're like, oh gosh,
I'm hungry.
Yep. You're like,
oh, okay.
oh, we're boring them. Oh no. Oh, no.
I have to go.
Yeah. Why is he taking so long?
Yeah, you don't want to hear that one.
Oh no.
That's kiss of death. Here you go. Hold this.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
But we had a day when we were filming Terrifier 3. We were filming in a mall, and they had a whole audience of people upstairs watching us film. And so I had that audience to play off of when I was doing all the shtick in the Santa seat. And so I was hearing the laughs and everything up there. I'm like, oh, this is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
And it was just feeding me. And I felt like that was one of my best days on set. 'Cause I was on that day.
Wow.
Even
I
Damien's
feel like
this
you
is one of
really
your
only
best.
get that on an indie set too.
That's true.
You're not going to get that on a big
Oh,
budget.
gosh,
They're going to
no.
have it blocked off. They're going to have the
yeah.
whole location rented out, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a cool experience.
It's nothing like having a live audience.
I don't think a lot of actors get to experience what you did right there. That's really cool.
I was very lucky.
It's funny too, because growing up, I always thought that's like kind of what acting. Like I thought there was like a lot of people watching a set. I thought there would be like a crowd around, and it's just not the case. It's like maybe like 5 or 6 people really know what's going on.
So that's when I know I've done something right too, is when I make the crew laugh.
That's true.
Because they've seen multiple takes, and if they start laughing at something, I'm like, okay, that worked. So I usually now have to judge things of just how the crew reacts.
Yeah, that's a good barometer.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge, though. It's definitely a challenge. It's something I've just had to learn to deal with over the years.
Getting back to what you were saying earlier about the participation, everyone gets involved with this film. I also feel like the fans feel like they're involved as well, because you were touching earlier, David, how it was very fan-funded. I feel like many of the audience and the fans of Terrifier feel like this is their movie that they've helped create as well. And I think that's really helped the success of number 3.
I would say so. As we are very, very interactive with our fan base too. There's actually a whole entire Art the Clown Appreciation Society that has become like a cult, basically, on Facebook.
No kidding.
Over 30,000 members now.
It's the new Insane Clown Posse.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane, and we try to interact as much as possible with these guys. I mean, we're always doing the conventions, and a lot of times if they have like after parties at the conventions, I usually try to go to the after parties just to hang out with the fans and everything like that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because it was the fans that got us to where we are. I mean, that's absolutely what happened. It was the fans that first got the studios to take notice of us too. So we try to be as interactive with the fans as much as possible, because we truly appreciate.
I have a little button that says I vomited too.
That would be great.
Just a thought.
A puke pin.
A puke pin. Oh, you too? Which scene was it? Oh yeah, me too. Yeah. That's the one that got me.
I love also some videos I've seen where they like fans have taken videos of they bring their own family that have never seen these movies before. Like this one person tricked her like sister or something like that and saying, "Oh no, it's a family film. It's a Christmas family film." And she's filming her during the very first scene in the movie when little Timmy gets the axe, and that's all off camera, so you only hear what's happening. And this woman's reaction
can be worse.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And it's because especially with the sound design that we have in that scene, and her reaction is hysterical. She's like, "You said this was a family movie."
But it was the Manson family.
Exactly.
See, it depends on the family. That's the
family. There's a family there. There's not having a very good night. It's like,
this is an ex-family.
Yeah. An axe family, too.
Yeah.
Well, we were thinking about doing this since Art has no voice and Jim has a million voices.
Yes.
We were thinking of taking this scene. It's the Greetings from Santa scene from Terrifier 3 and having Jim do a voice of what Art would sound like. What do you think of that?
I love it.
So here's the scene, Jim. I got it pulled up on my
I'm
phone.
Gonna have to.
Has this ever been done before, David? Have you ever heard Art's potential voice?
No.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Pooter. That was. I've ruined your movie.
Gosh, I am so honored. This is like my inner kid is going crazy right now. You have no idea.
That sounded like the inner workings of someone's colon.
Pretty much.
That's
Shirt the clown.
Oh, well, here, I'll give you this back.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
Now what? Well, we're
I feel like
done.
we need to get Jim in a Terrifier in the future.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
that would be awesome.
that would
Jim
be
Cummings.
amazing.
I'd do a little cameo.
Oh, that would make me
Yeah.
so happy.
Yeah, well,
would
if
be
you could
so happy.
have a scene, kill him,
Yeah.
and I'll come in. What's going on? And then I'll be out of
You
it.
don't even get a whole line out
No, I
of
don't
it.
even- hey, what's going? Hey, you kids can't be in here. Oh, you know.
Just, you have to get him with a jar of honey. That's what you have to
Yes.
get him.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
With a jar of honey.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Let's
well,
get dangerous.
sure.
I'll be in there somewhere too.
You have a squadron of trained honeybees.
Yes.
And then tear them up, kind of like Willard with the
Yes.
rats, only bees. Well, we've ruined your franchise and mine now.
Oh, yeah.
I think our work here is done.
Oh yeah, I'm good at that.
How is Terrifier 4 going to evolve from Terrifier 3? Because I feel like each film's different from the one that came before.
There was so
what's
many
gonna be
unanswered
different about
questions.
Terrifier
So
4?
many unanswered questions. And we're gonna start finally answering them in part 4.
Oh.
So yeah, we're even gonna delve, I think, into his origin. And Damien explained to me how he's gonna delve into that in a really fun, unique way, which makes me very, very excited.
Ooh.
It's a very creative thing, and it makes perfect sense with how art is. And I love this idea. And it's a new cinegraphic style that we're gonna do with that too, which I'm very excited about. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus I'm excited to see where they're going to take art in this one too, because that's when I read the script for part 3, I loved how it ended. That was the first draft. I was like, "What? I know you're probably going to change other things in this, but do not change how this film ends." Because I like how it ended with both the hero and the villain both being knocked back a lot. Where they are, both have lost their powers. They're both on, death's door in a lot of ways too, and they're both in very, very vulnerable places. And I'm like, that's going to be an interesting place to go forward with these characters. Like, okay, where are we going to take them? They've both lost something that they need to get back. And I'm very excited to see what.
Will Art ever become the hero, do you think?
No. No. He's
it's
evil
not
incarnate.
that unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Boy, oh boy.
We definitely don't want people to feel sympathy for this character. He's just vile, disgusting, just evil.
Well, I think you're in good shape. I think you. I
Thank you.
have good news for you. You're in no danger of being raising a sympathetic eye.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? He has
Something.
a Facebook group with 30,000 people.
Well, it's crazy. That's a lot of sympathy.
It's
That is
crazy.
a lot of tea and sympathy.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I do like
Do you
tea.
feel like a Terrifier interactive film could work? Because you're seeing Netflix do them a bit now, where it's pretty much choose your own adventure, but it could be choose your own grotesque death.
That's crazy.
I feel like those
that'd be
don't work.
interesting.
I
That would
feel
be
like those
interesting,
don't
though.
work. Which the only one I know of is Black Mirror. Which other ones are there?
Oh, it's mostly because I've got kids, obviously. It's the kids watch. So there's a Jurassic World kids show, and my kids watch it, and they choose what happens, and they choose the wrong thing, the kids die. Basically, you know?
Do you remember that Black
Kids
Mirror?
die?
Do you remember when Black Mirror did that a few years ago?
Well, you don't see them die, but they head towards a dinosaur, and you know it's not going to end pretty, basically.
Oh. Hold on to your butts.
What was it, Black Mirror?
Yeah, do you remember that when Black Mirror did that a few years ago on Netflix? I feel like that fell flat on its face. I felt like
that's a hard thing to do.
It's very hard.
I can imagine what that's like to film something like that,
right?
Too. That's got to be very challenging.
Yeah,
just
and
trying to keep all that straight in your head as an actor. Okay, where am I at this point? What? Because you're doing so many variations.
Yeah, I think it translates really well to gaming.
Oh, it does.
There was a great choose your own adventure game called L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire, yes.
L.A. Noire is a great game.
Yes.
Detroit Become Human's a great game.
Yes.
Both, like, you control the entire storyline, like, just based
very
off your decisions.
story-driven, which I like.
I love that. I love that, too. It really reminded me of, like, what Brendan was saying, like the choose your own adventure novels that we grew up with.
Oh, I used to love
You remember those?
I used to love those.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Goosebumps as well, yeah.
Flip to page 68 if you chose this. And now flip to page 102. Yeah, it's like, oh, no. Let me go back and redecide.
Yeah, you'd always put your finger there just in case so you can go back.
Let's see what would have happened if I did this.
I had like multiple fingers in the book at one point because I would go this and this variation, this and this.
Oh, that's funny.
Got kids into reading, so it works.
That would be cool with a horror genre, though. That would be really cool with a horror genre.
Oh, that would work very well.
Yeah.
Just like, okay,
there actually was.
Would you survive
Until Dawn?
Yeah.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. That's
yeah.
I got through that game without any guides, and didn't do anything cheating wise, and I got everybody to survive.
Really?
I was so impressed with myself.
Yeah.
I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like that.
They did a great job with the suspense in that game too. That was a well done game.
They did. Yeah. I thought that was very clever, though. I like these developers out there that really do these very story oriented games in that way.
Me too. Yeah.
I love a good story.
Yeah. You play video games? Yeah.
I do. I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws a lot recently.
Oh, nice,
so,
nice.
I hear something.
Yeah, Jim has a little something cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you can say.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you can say about that, but it's coming down the pipeline.
We have to hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
You've heard of that concept.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, hurry up and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, you've got a film coming out soon, haven't you, David? Or we're going to be working on it. I'm not sure if you've actually filmed it yet. It's a Disney kind of film.
Yeah, don't hate me.
What's that?
Don't hate me.
Okay.
Steamboat Willie?
Screamboat.
Oh, Screamboat.
I'm Willie. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gee, pal.
Oh, boy. It was...
Yeah.
I filmed that this summer when I first moved here. They filmed everything else in New York. But they filmed me on a soundstage because I'm this tiny little mouse going around. I'll have to show you a photo of what I look like in the costume. But
I see. So it's not animated.
No.
You're actually
full costume. 4 hours of makeup.
Man.
Full fur costume. It looks amazing.
Is it like a Blood and Honey type deal?
It's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
This was made by a bunch of people that love Disney.
Is that a horror-y? I don't know what
horror-y. Yeah, I like that. But it's a lot of Disney jokes in there. Referencing the different films, the company itself, all of that. It's just,
Blood and Honey was so wonderful. I don't know how. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, then we went a little crazy with it. It was like, we can't take this because I know other people that do these things. They take them way too serious. I was like, no, this is just pure fun and silliness, and let's just have fun. But there's a good story in it too, which surprised me when I read the script. I was like,
you're kidding.
I'm surprised. There's a whole reason Willie's doing what he's doing on the boat.
Oh,
and you're like, oh. It makes sense. I'm like, okay.
Steamboat Willie's going John Wick.
I had to do a lot of whistling. I did a lot of whistling. I did the ADR for that a few weeks ago, and it's hard to do inflections with whistling. I've discovered.
Yeah,
it's a lot harder to do that.
Like such as
just trying to okay, we want you to be angry while you're whistling, and I'm like.
Okay.
It's hard. It's like that's something I never really thought about. I'm like. Yeah, because you can only do so much.
I mean, there's only what's an angry whistling?
Yeah,
you can't whistle and be angry. That's the problem.
It's an oxymoron
because your mouth has to be different. It was definitely a challenge. So I was like, well, I hope this is coming out right. But I do a lot. I don't really talk, and I just do a lot of it sounds like that the whole entire time. So this is
like Mickey's demented cousin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man,
like Mortimer.
Is Pete in there? Because Jim is Pete.
Pete is in it, but he's not a cat in this one.
Oh, what is he?
He's just
Rat?
a human.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, Pete's in it. Pete is in it.
Wow.
Well, it's Peter, but
No, all right, now who's Pete? Damn it.
He's a guy on the ship.
Who?
He's one of the guys on the ship.
Just a guy on the ship, huh?
Yeah, he's one of the workers.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil things, so.
Oh, okay, fine.
I know.
You can tell me after. Okay. I'll tell you afterwards. Then I'll tell all of you, so don't. Oh, no, I'm going to get in so much trouble. No, I won't. Shh. Oh, no. Good night, everybody.
It's actually, this role is actually a full circle moment for me, too.
Oh, yeah?
Because the first big role I ever played on stage was back in 8th grade. This was my mom's role because I was bullied a lot growing up. I was a tiny little guy, glasses, braces, in Alabama, not very athletic, and I was a soprano.
So you were begging for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was always funny at home. I was, doing silly voices and stuff like that. Had everybody laughing. My mom was like, have your classmates ever seen this side of you? I was like, no one wants me to talk at school. So I was always very quiet at school. And she's like, well, your choral program this year is doing Mickey's Christmas Carol. You do a great Mickey Mouse. You should go out and audition for this. And I'm like, okay. And I did. And I got the role of Mickey.
Oh, that's cool.
Bob Cratchit. And we're doing the show. And things start to go wrong. Like the set falls down on Scrooge and I at one point. And I was like, I didn't miss a beat. I was like, Mr. Scrooge, I think we have rats.
Yeah.
And then
no mouse would do this.
Oh, no, definitely rats. Definitely rats. And like we were having the Cratchit family dinner and with our meager little chicken.
Sure.
And the table broke and it shot the chicken over the audience. And I didn't miss a beat again. I went, it looks like we're having fast food tonight, folks.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was an accident.
It was an
and
accident.
It shot the damn chicken?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had everybody just laughing.
That's showbiz
I
gold right
loved
there.
It was just wonderful. It was great. And it was like the first time at that school I'd had people laughing with me instead of at me.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I loved that feeling. And that's when I was like, Mom, I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
I like to make people laugh. I want to do this more. And so that's when she really encouraged me to start doing community theater.
Now, if I can con somebody into paying me, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I love that I got to do this version of Mickey in a way. It's like this is a full circle moment. This is the character that really got me into doing theater to begin with.
Wow, that is cool.
Though my first voice I ever did was Goofy when I was in first grade.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there and my class was having story time and my teacher was reading us a Mickey Mouse book. Okay. And this girl I had a crush on in the class passed me a note.
Oh well, Goofy's your guy. If a girl, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you want to hear my Goofy?
Yeah.
I mean, you're in.
Oh, you are. And that's what happened. She gave me the note. I read it and asked me if I would be her boyfriend. I just laughed. I was like, gosh. And I was like, and I didn't know I had that in me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh. Where did this come from?
Well, that's pretty good.
And that's what the next year's when Roger Rabbit came out, and that's when I learned about Mel Blanc.
Oh.
Doing all the voices for Looney Tunes. Like, wow, you mean there's a guy that can do all these voices? And that's what made me want to get into.
Pay him and like him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when then I learned about you and, of course, Dawes Butler and, all the greats.
Yeah, well bless your heart.
This is amazing.
That's kind of what happened to me. I remember, I've said it before, I don't want to repeat too much, but I was 5 years old and saw Mel Blanc and on the Jack Benny program, and my dad told me who he was. And the first thing I thought was, well, he doesn't have to stand in a corner for being weird. I'll do that. Yeah. If somebody will pay, I figured he was making good money.
Yeah.
He was on TV. Good enough for me. Mm. Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun.
It's fun. I would sit there and after that, I just started trying to learn how to do voices. It was like I always call it my autism superpower. I'm good at mimicry, and I can just hear voices and I can mimic them. And I don't know how I do it. And I would just sit there with toys.
That was a pretty good Goofy you just did.
Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Now let's hear your Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, Bob.
Okay, that's terrible.
It's just.
That was actually very good.
Thank you.
Don't ever do it again.
No, I won't.
Okay,
I won't. I'm not going to take your job. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
No.
I feel much better.
Yeah. No. It's like his. I think I would be more in competition with Brian Hull too right now because I know he's doing a lot of imitations and
Don't
stuff
know who
like
that
that.
is.
He's a YouTuber. He does a lot of Disney voices especially.
Oh.
He's very good. He's very good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think so. Somebody's mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
But that's the thing. It's like you can learn those voices.
Good
but
for him.
You can take those voices exactly, but take those and adapt them into others, and that's what I've done over the years. I've taken those voices and done variations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
found ways to like, okay, I can twist it this way and make it into this type of character.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I've been doing forever.
Yeah.
You know, if you do, and I have my little mini philosophy. I don't want to bore everybody all over again. But if you do a great impression of somebody, good. If you do a terrible impression, nobody even knows you're doing. That's new character. Mm-hmm. And then you can put two characters, very famous people together, put them all together, and that's a new character.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you know, it's all these little tricks.
Little tricks.
Refine it, and
But you never know where they'll take you.
yeah. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Give me some wood here, quick. But yeah, very cool. So what's happening next? Should we tout some future?
If you have any conventions or
Appearances.
anything, website or anything you want to
First, the
promote?
movie. When's that coming out?
Yeah,
The next?
Screenboat comes out in January in theaters.
Okay.
So that's coming out then. They're still negotiating right now with the release date because I think they had a release date, but now there's another movie coming out at the time that they don't want to compete with that one. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. It's always that.
Yeah, and then
When does Terrifier 4 start filming?
I know Damien's about to start writing it soon, so I'm anticipating starting that probably in the fall or early 2026. Start filming that, so we'll see where all that goes. And I have no idea what else. I mean, I've had other people throwing some scripts at me and stuff like that, but I've wanted to take a break for the rest of the year just so I could, because I had so many press junkets and stuff like that and conventions. I was like, I told my agent, just like, let's hold off on things for right now and we can start in the new year and see what comes around. But I mean, there are other hopes and dreams I have. Of course, my ultimate role that I want to play is the Joker in some way, shape or form. So I'd love to bring him to life in a lot of ways.
That's not bad.
Because he's my
I like
favorite
that.
villain. He's my favorite villain.
Yeah, I could see that. Wow, yeah. And you're used to working in whiteface.
I am.
Yes,
I won't get in
indeed.
trouble for whiteface either.
No. No, you want a
Do you
blackface
feel
maybe.
like Terrifier 4, this is the first time one of your films has had the expectation of success?
I think so. I like Damien and I were talking about that last night. It's like, it's like no matter what we do, I mean, we're not going to let that be a factor in it. But like, no matter what we do, there's Terrifier 4 is probably going to be a success, and just because of the hype alone. But we don't want to rely on that. We still want to go out there and just.
Well, you want to get out there and earn it. You don't want to coast. Yeah,
no, you don't. It's like, I think anybody
That's
that just
kiss of
wants,
death.
Yeah, you don't. That's a horrible way to go about things. You always want to improve on yourself.
Heck yeah.
You never want to just rest on your laurels. There's always places to improve. There's always ways to do things better.
It's got to be a better way to strangle someone.
Oh,
It gotta be.
The right torque,
Yeah, right. Oh man, I love it because probably one of the most frightening characters out there. And here you're like Fred McMurray. You're this great guy. He's like
oh my God,
everybody's
Fred
neighbor.
McMurray.
Yeah, there's a reference for you.
Oh man,
But in other words, a really nice guy.
yes.
And here you are, and son of Satan.
It's so weird how that goes. But that's something I've noticed too, is most of these men that play all these monsters in movies, in real life, they are the sweetest, kindest people you'll meet. And which is great. And my water decided to die right next to me.
I wonder about Peter Lorre though. I don't know. I think he had to have been a little
Oh my God.
so you never I don't know.
He was funny though.
But he was funny.
Oh boy, he was. What was that movie that he and
Casablanca.
No, not that one. But he and Vincent Price in Boris
The
Karloff.
Pendulum? No.
No, it was a comedy though, a comedy of terrors that they did together.
Oh wow!
You need to watch this movie.
How did I miss
hysterical.
that?
It's him, Karloff, Vincent Price.
Oh boy.
And I think
total funny maniac
Cushing,
types.
but a bunch of horror legends to get. But it's a comedy. It's
Oh,
about
God.
a mortician that is losing business. And he owes a lot of money to people, so he starts to kill people so he has more business. And so it's Vincent Price as the mortician, and Peter Lorre plays his assistant. And the two of them together are hysterical.
Oh my God.
You know,
They're
that was
so
almost
funny.
the concept of Bob's Burgers. You know, the cartoon Bob's Burgers?
That's right. It was.
You're kidding.
Their burger shop was right next to a cemetery, and it was implied that they would just cook the dead bodies
like,
for their burgers.
man.
Very Sweeney Todd in a way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can still see in the opening, you know, Bob's Burgers is right next door to the morgue or the cemetery,
oh,
whatever
oh,
it is.
I didn't notice that.
Crematorium.
Yeah.
Crematorium, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Well, I had like my first neighborhood in Queens when I lived there. They had a Chinese restaurant right next to a pet store, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. It's like, oh,
They're eating the pets.
oh no.
It's all I can do. I
Yeah.
just had a bunch of terrible things shoot into my head.
Oh yeah.
And a terrible Chinese accent, and I
Oh
won't do
yeah.
it.
It's
Quick, somebody else fill in the blank.
no.
Must resist.
It's like no.
Stereotype.
Oh, I don't want to get canceled.
Very nice. Anyway, so. Oh, stop me before I kill again. I just am so glad you made it here,
Yeah,
man.
I am too.
What do you think, Brendan? Huh?
It's been fantastic. I think Art the Clown is arguably the most famous figure in Hollywood at the moment. Everyone just wants a piece of Art the Clown. So we're just so thankful that you gave us the time here today. Really appreciate
you're
it.
Very welcome.
Absolutely.
Very welcome.
Yes,
This has
indeed.
been so much fun. I'm so glad I was able to actually carve some time out to come in.
Amen. Yeah. And I'm
I
sorry.
feel like you just need to give us some Art the Clown work. You know, what does he look like without the makeup when he's doing the poses and whatnot? The smile.
You know, he's just got a regular 9-to-5 job in some like weird office, you know,
Yeah.
making staplers or something.
And then,
like
and then
that.
you've got those contacts
I
in
do.
there. And I mean, and that
Ugh.
I always wonder about that. For
hate
some reason, I
those.
go right to the contacts.
I hate those.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I
like-
believe you.
I was lucky though on Screamboat, because I had to wear scroll lenses for that, and I had a wonderful lens tech on there. Like so, every 10 minutes he's just coming over beep, 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 to my eyes, and so I had no problems that time.
Oh, that's
yeah. So I was like, oh, I need you on part 4.
Wow. So fantastic. Well, thank you, brother. I
Just
really
before you were telling us just
appreciate-
before we got onto the air the story about the eyelash in the eye. I feel like we need to touch on that just to sort of give her some props of the strenuous work that she goes into.
She's a trooper.
Oh, Samantha Scafidi, who played Victoria, is the MVP of Terrifier 3. It's like the things that this poor woman would endure on a daily basis. Her makeup process took about 8 hours every single day because it's not just her face, but her legs and arms were all covered in prosthetics. And she only had one little hole that she could see out of from one eye, so the other eye is completely covered up.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, she said it was like looking through a straw the whole entire time. And it was hard for her just to, you know, for any depth perception on set for anything she was doing. And I know how bad that was because in the first 2 films, there was like a scene or so where I had my eye gouged out and it was my good eye. So I had to look at everything through my bad eye and it was horrible. So she had it even worse than I did. But she had this one day on set where right after she got on set, she had an eyelash go into her eye that was fully covered up. And there was no way that they could get to her eye without removing the whole entire prosthetic, which would have taken another few hours to get her back in, which we did not have. And so she's like, okay, I'll just try to blink it out. And she just could not get it out of her eye. So she had to go through the whole entire day with this eyelash in her eye. And her eye was just so swollen by the end of the day. I just felt so bad for her. But she is such a trooper. She just dealt with it and moved on. Just
Got a gallon of Visine.
yeah. I think she even internalized it in some ways for her character just to make herself more manic and crazy because she was just trying to keep her sanity right there anyway. But I have to give her props for that. That's a lot to endure, and she looks fantastic. And I think she gives such a great performance. So I've been so happy because like I've done several conventions with her before the movie came out because she was also in the first 2 films. And I've been so happy to see what a following now she has at the other conventions. Now she had a massive line at this past week's convention, and I was so happy for her. So it was great. It was so great. So I love her.
All right, guys. So thanks for checking out the latest episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you, David. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. Give us a thumbs up, comment below, tell us what you think of the show, tell us what you think of the Terrifier films. I'm sure David will love to read through the comments and hear all the praise. We love hearing praise, don't we, David?
Yay.
We all love Terrifier. And if you do like the show and you want to support it, you can support us on Patreon for as little as $2 per month. Link for that is in the description of this show. But for now, David, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
David, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
David Thornton.
And we'll catch you in the next episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Oh, that was
Thank
great.
you.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.